The Enigmatic Life of Jim Colosimo, 11 Shocking Facts You Never Knew. Jim Colosimo, popularly known as Big Jim, was a central figure in the development of organized crime in the United States during the early 20th century. Often romanticized in movies and books, the real Colosimo was a complex and dangerous character. Here are 11 shocking and bewildering facts about this mafia boss that delve into the labyrinth of his life, including his associations with Al Capone. Fact number 1. Early life in Italy, the making of Big Jim. Born Vincenzo Colosimo in 1878 in the small Italian town of Colosimo, Calabria, he had a modest upbringing that provided little indication of the notorious life that lay ahead. At the age of 17, he made the daring decision to immigrate to the United States, landing on American soil in 1895. The New World provided him with endless opportunities, but it was in Chicago's criminal underworld where Colosimo found his calling. This move set the stage for his transformation into Big Jim, the mastermind behind one of the most powerful criminal empires in Chicago's history. Number 2. Rise to prominence, the brothel kingpin. By 1909, Jim Colosimo had become a formidable figure in Chicago's seedy underbelly. At the height of his power, he controlled an astonishing 200 brothels across the city. These establishments became infamous for their lavishness, attracting wealthy and influential clients. Reports indicate that Colosimo was raking in a staggering $50,000 a month from these operations alone. To put that into perspective, that's the equivalent of over $1.3 million in today's money when adjusted for inflation. It was a fortune built on vice, but it made him one of the wealthiest men in Chicago. Number 3. Lavish lifestyle, the taste of a gangster. Big Jim Colosimo was not just content with making money, he enjoyed flaunting it too. Known for his sartorial elegance, he would often be seen wearing diamond belt buckles and gold rings, not to mention his custom-tailored suits. Colosimo's penchant for the finer things in life was also evident in Colosimo's Cafe, a luxurious establishment he owned. This cafe was no ordinary place, it was often compared to a palace, with opulent decor that included grand chandeliers, plush furnishings, and elaborate wall art. It was a sanctuary of luxury in a city marred by crime and poverty. Number 4. Al Capone's early days with Colosimo. Before Al Capone became the notorious gangster we all know, he was a young man trying to make his mark in the criminal underworld. He found a mentor in Jim Colosimo after moving to Chicago in 1919. Originally, Capone was hired as a bouncer and bodyguard at one of Colosimo's brothels. This early association laid the foundation for Capone's understanding of organized crime, particularly the business structures and political connections that were crucial in those days. Some even speculate that Capone had a role in the assassination of Colosimo, though this has never been definitively proven. This early employment not only benefited Capone's criminal education but also served as a launchpad for his subsequent rise to infamy. Number 5. His first marriage was arranged, ties that bound and separated. Jim Colosimo was married for the first time at the tender age of 17 in an arranged union with Victoria Moresco. While the marriage ultimately ended in divorce, Victoria would go on to play a pivotal role in Colosimo's burgeoning criminal enterprise. She was not just a wife but also a partner in crime, contributing to the operations and the expansion of his empire. Their separation didn't diminish her influence, instead, it provided a fascinating look into how personal and professional lives can intertwine, even in the underworld. Number 6. Politically connected, friends in high places. Jim Colosimo wasn't just a force to be reckoned with in the criminal underworld, he had influential allies in the political sphere as well. Two key figures in this unholy alliance were Bathhouse John Coughlin and Michael Hinkie Dink Kenna, both notorious Chicago politicians known for their corrupt practices. This political connection wasn't merely casual. It granted Colosimo a level of immunity and protection that helped him expand his empire even further. Having such influential friends meant that law enforcement was often kept at bay, allowing him to operate his brothels, gambling dens, and various other enterprises with relative impunity. Number 7. feud with Dino Banyan, a rift that shook Chicago. Colosimo's influence in Chicago was not without its challenges. One of his most notable rivals was Dino Banyan, an influential Irish-American gangster and a leading figure in the North Side Gang. This enmity wasn't just personal, it led to a series of conflicts that had a ripple effect across the entire Chicago underworld. Whether it was turf wars, attempted assassinations, or battling for control over lucrative rackets, the Colosimo-Banyan feud escalated tensions in the city, contributing to an atmosphere of constant danger and volatility. Number 8. Assassination in 1920, the mysterious end to a criminal reign. On May 11, 1920, Jim Colosimo met an abrupt and violent end when he was assassinated inside his own sanctuary, Colosimo's Cafe. He was shot and killed in a private dining room, and the murderer was never caught. While the murder remains officially unsolved, many theories circulate around Colosimo's death. One prevalent belief is that his assassination was linked to his reluctance to enter the lucrative bootlegging business following the onset of Prohibition. In a world where the failure to adapt can be fatal, Colosimo's hesitation might have cost him his life. Number 9. Rivalry with Al Capone, when protégés turn foes. Al Capone, who would later become one of the most infamous gangsters in American history, initially worked for Jim Colosimo as a bouncer and enforcer. However, it's widely speculated that Capone was involved in, or at least benefited from, Colosimo's assassination. The main theory suggests that Capone had grown impatient with Colosimo's conservative approach, particularly his unwillingness to dive into the burgeoning bootlegging industry following Prohibition. Capone saw this as a missed opportunity and, possibly with the backing of other disgruntled members of Colosimo's organization, may have taken the drastic step to remove his boss and pave the way for his own rise to power. Number 10. Brother-in-law's betrayal, John Torrio's power grab. In a Shakespearean twist, John Torrio, who was married to Colosimo's sister, emerged as the successor of Colosimo's empire after his assassination. But Torrio didn't just inherit the empire, he expanded it and steered it into new avenues, including the bootlegging operations that Colosimo had avoided. Moreover, it was Torrio who mentored Al Capone, thereby adding another complex layer to the already complicated relationship between Capone and Colosimo. This betrayal within the family unfolded a series of events that would change the dynamics of organized crime in Chicago. Number 11. Wealth at time of death, the size of the empire. When Jim Colosimo was assassinated in 1920, he left behind an empire worth an estimated $5 million, an astronomical sum for the time, equivalent to over $65 million today when adjusted for inflation. This staggering wealth is a testament to the size and profitability of his operations, which included not just brothels and gambling dens, but also legitimate businesses like cafes and restaurants. This fact underscores the enormity of what Colosimo had built and also emphasizes how significant his influence was on both the criminal and cultural aspects of Chicago's history.